Welcome back, HS. I am Hunter Abney.
And I'm Corey Buelan.
And this is
The Res Drumline Takeover.
This week is all about drumline.
So when you think of drumline, what do you think?
Rack, marimba, xylophone, bells, chimes, timpanis, snares, quads, and basses.
And which one of those do you think can march?
Obviously, snare, quads, and basses.
Well, they also have marching timpanis, marching xylos, marching bells, and marching multiple bass drums at once.
I did not know that, but did you know that drums can be dated way back to 16,000 BC? They're actually the oldest instruments. Also, the first mallet instrument was made in 2000 BC.
That was so long ago, but you know what else was long ago? The last drumline takeover.
Why would you bring that up?
Because I enjoyed filming it.
Let's go to something people might actually enjoy.
Dylan, didn't you go ask this week's A-walking question? You know what else is pretty cool? A-walking.
Hey Corey, didn't you ask this week's A-walking question?
I sure did.
I sure did.
This week I went around asking y'all if y'all can name an instrument in the drum line. This is what y'all had to say. What is an instrument that is played in the drum line?
The drums.
So there's quads, there's snare, there's little, chime things, the dong things, and then the bass drums where they're like, yeah, and the drum set where Josiah goes like crazy on it, yeah.
The banjo?
During Sweet Victory, one of the people had a clarinet, but they weren't using it, so I'm going to say they should have used it, and it was used.
Donkey Kong's bongos.
Tuba, the quads.
Wow, those are some pretty good answers. My personal favorite instrument is the quads because that's what I play.
A debate that's been long running is that if drumlines or marching bands in general should be considered sports.
Obviously, it should be considered a sport. We spend several hours every week carrying 20-pound drums on our back. And we do all this while little to no breaks.
Not to mention the fact that marching isn't just walking, it's using many muscles in your legs and core of your body to keep you from slouching or falling over.
Or worse, you could drop your instrument.
Please don't be a Dietz.
Anyway, marching band should be a sport.
Talking about sports, hey Eric, how are Indian athletes doing?
Let's find out in this week's Res Sports.
The greatest athlete of all time. There is mustard on the lettuce.
Last Thursday, track competed at Venus in the Bulldog Relays. Both varsity and JV girls won the meet and guys got third overall. On the 29th, tennis had a tournament at Arlington. Lamar and did great. As well as tennis, softball battled out against Venus and sadly lost 12-8. Baseball also played Friday and played a close game against Hillsboro with an ending score of 8-7. Friday and Saturday, 7 varsity Lady Indians from track competed in the Texas Relays, getting 18th in the 4x2. Way to go, ladies. On Tuesday, softball and baseball threw it down at Ferris. Great job, guys. For Wednesday and Thursday, tennis had their district tournament here. What a great way to end the season. Today, softball is playing at Hillsboro, so go cheer them on. On top of softball, baseball have a home game versus Ferris. Go watch them hit those home runs. Next Monday and Wednesday, track will be at their district meet in Ferris, so don't forget to show them your support. On the 9th, softball will be running to those bases at Heritage. Don't miss a great game. Also, baseball will be playing against Waxahachie Life on our own fields. Go encourage them on. That's all for this week's Res Sports. Back to you guys.
I love watching other drumlines such as the Blue Devils, who have 18 titles, the Cadets, who have 10 titles, the Cavaliers, who have 7 titles, and St. Clair Vanguard, who also have 7 titles.
Yes, those drum lines are amazing. I wish I can sit and watch them for hours. They're masterpieces.
Speaking of masterpiece, let's go to this week's Masterpiece Theater. Masterpiece Theater presents Lucia's Ludicrous Legend, where Lucia ludicrously talks about her legend of the drumline. Now, here's Lucia.
The Alvarado Drumline started doing drumline shows 2 years back. Now 2 years ago, we were trash. In comes Mr. Spoon, and with the help of Mr. Rindom, we bumped up to second place the following year. This year, we're in a completely new, different category. We're marching now. This year's show is called Clowning Around After Midnight. Now what the show is about, the whole drumline is clowning around after midnight at this abandoned circus, and suddenly bump into the 4 clowns, who eventually put a whole curse on the whole drumline. Under the curse of the clowns, the drumline does everything the clowns tell them to do. The first movement is when the clowns possess the whole drum line. The second movement is when the clowns force the whole drum line to perform a whole circus act for them. The third and final movement is when the drum line temporarily realizes that they were possessed. However, the clowns suddenly possess them again and causes the drum line to vanish. Now, this show has been one of my most favorite drumline memories and favorite shows to ever perform in. And we already won awards. And we will be performing this show during Powwow today. And in case you miss it, we will also be performing in Burleson Centennial on Saturday.
This has been Lucia's Ludicrous Legend. Come back next time where Lucia ludicrously talks about another legend. We spent a lot of time together as a drumline, both in and out of school.
We have so many stories, like the time when we were performing and Corey knocked a pillar over, but everyone thought it was on purpose.
But it wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh my. Speaking of stories, we have two people from Drumline in this week's Indian Interview Time telling stories. Here's it.
They were singing, my, it's Indian Interview Time, where we interview some Indians and have a good time. So sit back and watch this interview time, 'cause it's Indian Interview Time, Indian Interview Time.
Welcome back, AHS. I'm Devin Wilson, and I'm here with
Kyler Goulding.
And we'll be talking about drumline experiences. Now, Kyler, what's your favorite drumline experience?
Just hanging out with Drumline and playing with them.
Now, what do you mean by like hang out? Is there anything, in your opinion, that highlights your favorite thing?
Over the summer, we'd go swimming at Jeremy's and just have fun.
See, I remember going swimming over at Jeremy's. He brought out laundry basket hampers. They were those really tall ones. And Dylan Scott put it over his body and jumped off the diving board into the water and couldn't get out while he was underwater.
Yeah.
And almost drowned. And then Jeremy did it right after and got stuck. Is there anything else you enjoy in drumline?
Just playing, like solo and ensemble.
Solo and ensemble. Did you have a solo this year?
Yes.
Alrighty. What did you play?
Played a 4-mallet solo,
Okay.
Green Run.
Green Run. Is that the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, between marching outside, like regular marching show, and indoor marching, which one do you enjoy better?
I would say outdoor marching.
Outdoor marching. Now, how come?
Because it's more fun. You're able to, it might be harder sometimes, but it's a lot more fun to play and mess around out there.
Alrighty. Yeah, I know what you mean, because not only at outdoor marching, we get to go to all the football games, we get to play our cadences up in the stands. That's really fun. But my favorite is indoor. I enjoy indoor a lot because of, one, it's inside and we have air conditioning. Two, you get to watch all these really cool drum lines, and some of them are really, really good. Like our most recent drumline competition, we went to watch a drumline called VIP Drumline. Has a bunch of groups in it. Like the one we know best is Vigilantes, because one of our drumline instructors teaches for them. And they've had a couple of really good shows within the past few years. Like our freshman year, there was one about a guy dying, like killing himself over his daughter dying in a car wreck. I can't remember what they did last year, but they had a really good one this year. I can't remember what it was about, but it was like androids, and it was really cool. I have a really good drumline story, like indoor story. So last year I was playing bass drum. You weren't here last year, but I was playing bass drum, and it was our championship show. And so we were walking to our warm-up. We had to walk through a parking lot. There was a curb. Now, Corey, he played bass 3, so he stood in front of me. We were all marching in a line, and Corey comes out to the side, didn't say anything. So I decided to keep walking straight, didn't think much of it, and I go straight into a curb and tripped, landed, my bass drum came up and hit me in the face, and my first thought when they took the bass drum off of me was, did I break my nose? So I was laying on the ground, feeling at my nose, making sure I wasn't like bleeding or I broke my nose or anything like that. And it was funny.
I still yell at him all the time for it. It's just goofy. Do you have any favorite indoor stories? Like anything that you've done on your way to the show or on the bus or anything else?
One of them is getting to know Melissa on the bus rides to and from competitions.
All right.
And I'm probably going to ask her out really soon.
Okay, that's really sweet. I know a few competitions ago we went to CC's. It was like a CC's KFC Whataburger thing. And me, Tyler Rhodes, Cade Lade, and Ryan went to go to CC's to do a pizza eating competition. And Tyler ended up winning, eating like 32 slices of pizza. And he could have kept going, but our drumline instructor made him stop because he didn't want him to throw up at all. So yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
No.
And that's all for this week's Indian Interview Time. I'm Devin Wilson.
And I'm Kyler Goulding.
See you guys next time.
Other stories I enjoy are books.
Here's Wig.
Hey HS, this is Josiah Richmond, and I'm here to talk to you about CTBA scores. One of the main goals of this year's WIG is to increase CTBA scores, and you can do that by studying, so spend your time wisely and study. A good place to study is here in the library because it has resources like computers and books, like this one. That's all for this week's WIG. Thanks HS, and have a great day.
Drumline started competing in 1969.
The drumline competitions consist of multiple drumlines, standstills, or marching, which they compete for who's the best in music and effects.
Last week, we competed and got 3rd place.
Let's watch our performance. It's time in which we highlight the skilled,
the funny,
the silly,
and the talented.
It's time for this week's Shenanigans! Now it's time for our sponsor, Tribal Tees. For all your shirts,
hoodies,
senior pictures,
and graphic design needs,
see Tribal Tees. Come join the tribe. Now it's time for our other sponsor, Classic Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC of Cleburne.
Dad, I think she wants us to follow her. Classic Zoe.
Classic Chevrolet Buick GMC of Cleburne. Relax and enjoy the difference. Zoe can show you the way.
Now it's time for this week's general announcements. Don't forget to wear your ID.
And remember, all cars must have parking stickers, so go get you a parking sticker for $10 from the front office.
And most importantly, come out to Burleson Centennial this Saturday to cheer on Alvarado Drumline as we go to championships. That's all for this week, AHS. Keep that purple pride alive. Until next time, I'm Hunter Abney.
And I'm Corey Beelan.
And this has been The
Rez Drumline Takeover. I'll tell you when to start reading.
I do exactly what you are doing right now. He's not helping me.
3, 2.
Welcome back, AHS.
Wait.
You can't have blood in the episode, so we have to take that.
Are you being dead serious?
No.
Talk to you about CTVA scores.
Ready?
Let's go see what something people enjoy. Dylan!
What they are doing, but they don't know why they are doing it. The clowns keep feeding on their beer until eventually all of them
Die.
I can't see him.
So we decided Drumline, we would, what do you think?
And this is
The Rez Drumline Takeover.
That's all for this. Alright.
Rack, marimba, xylo bells.
I forgot to put commas. Dang.
Hey, Jess, this is.
What was the one that we watched? It was.
I know, me either.